All right. Thanks all for joining. This is Bitcoin Core App Design Call number 90. As usual, we have our notes document. Feel free to add anything in there. I'll share the link in the chat. I have a few points pretty quickly, but then what else would you like to talk about? We can gather some topics at the beginning and go over them.
I have a prototype for activity. My voice is terrible. I have a prototype for activity. It's much shorter than the Create wallet, and I wonder what we can all more test there. Maybe it's enough. So I would like to show it and hear
Awesome.
your thoughts.
Yeah, I have two prototypes for the receive flow. Well, I mean, very small ones, but just two different concepts. So maybe that, and then we can maybe with Jakub decide whether it makes sense to kind of combine some of it.
You guys are on it. That's awesome. Bringing it. Okay, sounds awesome. Okay, how about we just start with those? Who wants to start? Michael, Jakub?
I can start.
Yeah,
So,
go ahead.
Or unless there's anyone else. Be Epicurious, Johnny, anything else you want to put on the list?
I think Epic is first time and he needs some kind of intro to the project. But I've seen on Twitter he posted a screenshot of running the node, I think on the phone, and I just asked if he wants to contribute.
Ooh, awesome. So how should we go about this intro? Do a quick round with everyone?
I'm happy to introduce myself first, if that's all right. Been in Bitcoin for a while. About a year ago, I tested the app on Android and provided some feedback, and it looks like almost all that feedback has been like updated in the app. So I ran into an issue where I bricked my Pixel, so I just got myself a new Pixel 8, and now I'm back running the Android app. And yesterday I posted on Twitter. I modified it to created a fork and just pulled out the Signet argument. So I was running on mainnet and posted a screenshot on the internet on Twitter. And there seems to be a lot of traction. People, I think, are really excited for this project. Saunter reached out to me and suggested I join the meeting. So have a lot of experience developing, and so far I've been black box testing. I haven't really peeked behind at the code, but I'm happy to contribute in any way I can to the project. So kind of just generally, like, how can I be useful?
That's awesome. Yeah, I'm just pulling up the Twix thread. Just shared it in the channel.
Yeah, it's like almost 100 likes and a bunch of reposts. And I noticed there's like 18 bookmarks last time I checked. So people really are excited for this product.
Yeah. Bro, how? Nice.
Yeah.
Awesome.
And I don't want to be encouraging people to run something on mainnet that's not ready. So I put in a warning there that it's a beta, or maybe it's an alpha. I'm not quite sure, but so I'm excited to obviously all the credit goes to the team so far. I'm excited to join the team and figure out how I can help advance the project.
That's super cool. And I don't know, I guess how would you like to contribute? What are you good at? What are you not good at? QML or?
I don't know QML, but I can learn very quickly. I have an eye for design. I don't have a lot of experience in design, but just from like a user tester standpoint, I like design and things like that. So kind of however whatever's needed. If there's a lot of development work needed right now, if there are kind of a backlog of tickets, features, and bugs and things like that, I'm happy to work wherever I can be useful.
Super cool. Yeah, I think Johnny would be the person to talk to about the state of development.
Yeah. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Yep.
Sorry. Yeah, the development is what we're short on for sure. There's a ton of QML and Qt work to be done. So yeah, if you're interested in that, there's a lot of areas you can get started. The easiest place to sort of like learn what we're kind of working on will be to just look at the pull requests, the changes, and where they're being made. And then yeah, look at the designs. There's actually a lot of I wouldn't say they're easy, but they can be picked up right now and worked on without really a whole lot of like things blocking you, especially with the things that'll likely be shown today in the meeting. So yeah.
Yeah, is it actually possible to just go in and just start coding something, or is there typically, you have to become familiar with the framework, code libraries, existing structures of things?
Well, yeah, of course you'll need to like, which I'm sure you're familiar with, being able to build the code base and yeah, I don't know that there's too many like obstacles. Now, if you're, I should say, the Android stuff is a little more complicated, but because our focus right now is getting desktop running first and foremost, and then the goal is that once we have the desktop wallet working, we can make the modifications needed to get it to run on Android.
Sounds good.
Yeah,
Yo,
but I imagine you're familiar with building Bitcoin Core already.
right. And
Yeah.
I've looked at the CI pipeline for how it's running for the QML project.
Yeah. It's mostly there's not a whole lot you have to do. Just check out the code, configure it, and build it. So yeah, other than that, it's just making the changes.
Cool. Well, I'll get started looking over the open PRs and some of the issues. And Johnny, how can I connect with you directly?
Do you have Discord?
I joined the Discord last night, so
We have a little group chat for the development. We'll add you to it.
okay. Thank you.
Yeah, and so just generally on the design side, we just try to be several months ahead of development and just document everything super well. If you haven't seen bitcoincore.app, which is the design documentation site, we try to be really thorough there. There are some updates that we have ongoing right now. Then we have a web prototype. We create these Figma prototypes. So the goal is really that, and designers, developers, everyone should be part of that. So the goal is really that by the time something gets implemented, it's already been like very, very fully fleshed out and thoroughly tested. So there should be kind of no surprises there anymore, where there's a realization that something's not even technically possible or doesn't make sense. That should all be vetted out much earlier, which then ideally results in everyone being on the same page and implementation being much easier. So if there are ever any gaps about when you look at a design or so, you feel like there are gaps or questions or so, you have a bunch of people here that are happy to answer and create anything or make any modifications.
Sounds good.
Hey, Yashraj. Cool. Anything else on that topic, or should we give the stage to Jakub or Michael?
Yeah, happy to move on.
Cool. Jakub, you start. You sound pretty sick. So let's
Yeah,
make it short for you.
it's short, so yeah, we can either combine it with receive maybe, because or just try to expand the kind of tasks in the prototype.
So this is for the activity screen, and just
Yeah.
for Epic, you'll see this on the Bitcoin Core app site. We split things up into 8 different milestones. The first one's general polish, second one is general navigation around the application, then you have import wallet, create wallet, and the fifth one, or 1.5, is activity. So we gotta say, like, we try to tackle them one by one, basically. And Jakub has looked at the activity screen or milestone.
Yeah, so I thought of this scenario where there is already an activity. So, since we don't have send, receive, at least not connected now, it wouldn't make sense to start with this kind of empty state. So I thought about there's this receiving state, and it's like for 10 seconds, then it changes to confirmed. And I thought about showing this to the user and just ask, if they can say how they understand what they see, right?
Mm-hmm.
So then they would just speak about what they see, how they understand it. And then when they finish, give them a task to find a transaction ID of transactions they received for a pizza. So there are these buttons here. I added these hovers. This is also, they can also save transaction list, but I don't know if this is needed. And if they click search transactions, then they would, then they can type pizza. There's this pizza they received for this pizza. Then there's transaction view, and then details, and there's transaction ID. So that was prototype this. We could add some filtering in the prototype. I don't know if this is needed, to be honest. So yeah, I don't know what to add here. I mean, we could also add some more transaction states, and just to show different transaction states, and kind of maybe verify this as well. But otherwise, it's pretty much good.
Yeah. If you're sorry, may I?
Yeah, go ahead.
So a regular user will unless they're experienced Bitcoiner, which is different. So are you speaking like someone who first receives Bitcoin for the first time ever, or someone who sort of used Bitcoin for some time and then comes to a full list? Because it could make sense that you create the prototype in a way that someone starts with the receive screen, creates a QR, like fake sends it to someone in your prototype, then goes to activity. There's like a 10-second delay, then it pops in.
Mm-hmm.
So you kind of set the scenario, because that puts them more in the mental state of someone who's expecting a transaction to pop in.
Yeah, so we can combine it with receive, and then do a fresh wallet without activity, so there will be first activity. Yeah, I just thought that if you want to test it separately, then it's better to just show already filled. I mean, I know it's not real scenario, because if you have filled transaction list, then you use the app. although you could actually, migrate from old core to the new core, right? So it's actually a real scenario. But
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you could, piggybacking on what I had this similar idea, like Christoph, you could kind of make it a story to say, okay, you send your first transaction, we do this with the pizza payment. Then you could say, and now imagine that, you've been using this wallet for, I don't know, for a while. You have now many more transactions.
yeah,
So how would you find that first or that pizza payment again?
yeah,
Right? How would you do that? That could
that
be
sounds
something.
good. That sounds good.
And yeah, design-wise, it's really about the details of this thing. And I think I added some notes to the GitHub issue. So we need to consider what things look like during assume UTXO when they're known but not really validated yet. Then there's another one if you want to indicate time locks somehow. I don't know if Core supports that right now or visualizes that somehow, but that could be a good one. And she basically sends about 70 transactions or so every month to people who get paid in Bitcoin. And for her, labeling and finding transactions is very important because her boss might come up and say, "Hey, has this person already been paid, or did this transaction go through?" She uses Moon currently, and she said that it's not possible there. But I think if we can nail this type of kind of payroll use case, that would be a good one. Yeah,
and do you have
Yashraj?
anything? Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. Hey guys, it's nice to be on the call. I was just listening to your conversations, and I love that thing that Jakub showed, where you can just search for some things, and then we went to one of the screens where there is a label field, right? And the label right now is just like a comment, like I think calling it a label seems a bit misleading to me. I know how it is called label, so like it's not something new that we are doing. It's more like a comment, right? And so right now what we have is that like you can just like write a comment or like write a remark, and then we are able to search those. But we could like, if you guys have seen how Unchuck, the app, allows you to do tags and labels. What it allows you to do is that it allows you to add multiple labels, and you can save the labels, reuse them, and things like that. And so uh, even with the silent payments angle, but also like these labels help people do coin control and things like that. So for example, one label could be these are KYC coins. Another label could be these coins are from this exchange, and all of those things. Then with silent payments, of course, as you guys now know, that the labeling feature can be extended to coin control and can be extended to the transaction descriptions and all of that. And having that kind of a feature, like I feel like that would be really, really nice to have. Uh, instead of what we have in these mockups right now, which is just like a remarks field, you know. And
Yeah.
remarks field is not something like rare. It is used in like, I know that Blue Wallet has that, and if you guys use uh, this field regularly, you would know that like what, for example, I do sometimes is that I comma separate different labels. So I will say, okay, received from somebody, and then the label is these are KYC coins, or the label might be something else. You know, having a tags based like a label, like a proper labels based UI would be awesome and very super duper useful. I feel like.
Yeah. Yeah, so in terms of so label is just, I think the term label in the Bitcoin QT wallet is a bit confusing because addresses have labels, transactions have labels, and you just don't really know what's what, because a label for a receiving address is different thing than a label for a transaction. Like they have different purposes. One is more like, the person that it's made for, but it's just a way to attach text to something, free-form text. Maybe we can define that a little bit more clearly. As far as tags to group things or categorize things, that would be more of a future feature, I think, because we don't have that tag. Well, definitely not MVP, right? Because we're just trying to use current functionality, but that could be something used. And we have that in the design guide, this type of categorization. That would be cool.
Yeah, yeah, it would be nice to bring it to Bitcoin Core. And Christoph, on that note, I was really intrigued to hear that you and Mo spoke to somebody from HRF, Anna, and uh, like that in a kind of use case that she has, I feel like something like that aligns very highly with silent payments, because these might be activists who you would want to pay anonymously, you want to pay them regularly, and if these are like if these are compensation or like related payments, they would be repeated payments, and they would possibly they would preferably want to have some like these tags, like this is the invoice number, this is the month, like this is for the month of June, and things like that. And I don't know, I mean, at some point in the future I would love to maybe get a sense from her as to how some of the silent payments related features and UIs might be useful for her, because
Yeah.
I know that Moon is not very useful for doing the kind of thing that she's doing.
Well, she said she uses it because it's easy. There's a simple interface. Doesn't
Uh-huh.
require you to understand a ton of technical stuff. It comes in lots of languages. There is currency conversion with lots of. She needs to switch from euro to dollars to rubles to other things.
Yeah.
There are the stuff like silent payments and XPubs. It's not mainstream ready. Let's put it that way. We have work to do there to. And Joe, they also train. They have like the 5-day workshops for activists that she does with BTC sessions. And just getting the basics, just getting people not to use Binance or some other centralized exchange is already a task. So yeah, it'd be great if they
Yeah.
used all this stuff, but
Yeah.
we really have some work to do there.
Yeah. I think like that points to like a big opportunity in general. I don't want to derail the Bitcoin Core app conversation, but just like a quick comment, like for like the features, and when these so-called technical features are like implemented in the right way, users don't even have to think about them as like some advanced or some like breakthrough features. I mean, things like this should be pretty mainstream, like in the applications that people use otherwise, and so they need not know that, oh, this silent payments is like a new thing. uh, I think like that like speaks to a big opportunity. But yeah, I mean, it would been it's just nice to hear that like I thought initially that she was using Bitcoin Core app like the regular app, but yeah, that's just like super interesting to me, and it would be nice to have Bitcoin Core app, like the new app that we are designing to have some of these things. Yeah, do we know, like, I know Johnny's on the call, like do we know like what what sort of an ability do we have to like implement features that are not existing? Because I think the tagging and labeling is not like something related to consensus or like related to anything sensitive, as far as I can tell, but I might be wrong on that. Like, what sort of ability do we have to implement something like that?
Well, now that Epic's here, we can do anything.
Yeah, I mean, something like that isn't really part of the protocol is certainly possible. Yeah, I mean, we certainly have the ability to, just add labels and tags to transactions. yeah, that shouldn't be too difficult to implement.
Yeah, Yashraj, I think right now we're focused on the MVP. These are all things we can put on our wish list, and we can perfectly design all the way out and demonstrate and make prototypes. And if we do a good job, maybe we'll get more supporters and contributors to actually help. And if we can actually bring people in that say, yeah, I want this, or not I want this, but I need this for my use case.
Yeah, that would be awesome. I think I saw Epic's post on X, and a lot of people were like excited, like, "Whoa, what is that visual? Like, are you running Bitcoin Core on your phone and things like that?" I mean, yeah, I feel like if we can do some things that the regular app cannot do, it might be useful in attracting some people, I guess.
We'll get there.
Yeah, of course.
So, Jakub, sorry for taking over the whole conversation here. How are you set with your design work there? Are you looking to flesh out the design further, or are you just looking at the prototype right now?
So I'm happy to introduce changes now, but I didn't really come up with anything constructive. I mean, those designs that were there were pretty good. But yeah, if you have any, I need to check out your comments in the issue because I didn't check out that. But if you have any ideas how to improve this, then I can focus on this. But otherwise, I'm ready to test it soon. Yeah, let's see what Michael has with the receive. Maybe we can combine it and just do it. Do it
Yeah.
together.
I think that could be good to combine it, and you and I can just create one prototype I can have with that, since from next week on I should have enough time. Hang on, I'll share my screen.
So just one more thing while we're on activities. So here in the transaction screen, I feel like I made this up a long time ago. I don't know if I made it up or if it's from the actual application. We have all these options: copy address, copy label, copy amount, copy transaction ID, copy raw transaction, full transaction details, increased transaction fee, abandoned transaction fee, edit address label. What I mean, I don't remember if those are actually real things that exist. It'd be great on the technical side to kind of validate if those are actually realistic. And then on the user side, is there anything else we want to do? It's like, if let's say I need a proof that something's sent out, can I copy it as an image and send it as an invoice, or download it as a CSV, or I don't know, do we need anything else replaced by, well, this is already confirmed here, but anything that's in the mempool, maybe some other options there. I think that'd be good to write maybe some specs about all these different functionalities. Because right now, just kind of threw them in this design here in this menu, right? But there's no consideration on the feasibility or usefulness.
Yeah, I need to also just test the current transaction activity and the easiest, at least from the designer side, would be just to run current core and see if these options are there. Yeah. On Signet or I don't know, on some testnet.
Yeah. Hey guys, like on that note, I would love to fire up another instance of the Bitcoin Core, like the application, and all of us can be on Signet and like do like these test transactions and all of that stuff. That will also like, at least it will help me get an idea of what features we have right now. Because I have to say that I don't have a very good grasp on like what all the features do we have in the existing application.
Yeah, become a power user. Get on testnet, get some faucet coins,
Mhm.
do stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
Testnet now costs, I heard.
Yeah, yes, Signet, I think.
Okay.
All right, let me share my screen. So, is this visible? Yeah, should be. All right. Yeah. So what I did basically is just I looked at what we had so far, and there were like two patterns that I thought could be an idea. Basically, one. Oh, let me go to the prototype. The first one, just if you go to the receive screen, you see an address that you can refresh, probably get a new one and share, so that you can quickly receive, and then have the option to create kind of a more advanced or a specific payment request. So you would click on that, fill out the form or the things that you want, and hit create, and you get basically a request like that in a some kind of modal, probably. Or the other version or another option could be to basically distinguish between address and payment request, where you can just switch between them, get a form, and basically the content changes here, then you copy it and send it. But this is a bit shaky, very kind of I kind of like the option of having a dedicated kind of mini flow better, but I just wanted to try out two different things. And yeah, I also didn't flesh out this thing here. You probably a couple of options that you could have, kind of give me a new address or show me the previous ones. That should be down here probably. So it's more a conceptual, was more of a conceptual exercise than on what exact elements we want. And I just wanted to throw it out there, and maybe then, based on the direction that we want to go, then refine it and add it to Jakub's prototype, so that it matches kind of the story or the test of that. And that's it.
I have one question here. So I think on mobile, showing a QR code kind of makes sense. You're most likely, I don't know if you're most likely, but there's a higher chance that you're in front of someone else with a device that scans it. But on desktop, I'm not sure if the QR code showing it right away makes sense. That assumes that there's someone in front of your desktop screen or laptop screen with a camera. So it may not. We could differentiate there.
True. Yeah, it could also be just, the address with an icon of a QR code that would, then selectively show the QR code if you really want it. So that's also an option, of course.
Yeah. So the current design that's also in the design docs, it's basically a form. There's label, message for the sender, and amount, and then it says create payment request, and then you get some info. What does everyone else? What does everyone think? Do we want to? Because this makes it very easy to just type stuff in, and then which makes it more likely that people will actually type things in. What does everyone think of? Go straight to show him an address and just as quickly as possible get him to share something, share an address, or better to confront them with this form, whether they fill it out or not. I mean, it's
This
really
is a
for their own
better,
sake, right? That they fill it out.
yeah, this is probably a better, how to say, behavior, right? To feel this stuff. So if we encourage to do this, then it's probably more beneficial for someone who just does not think about it or just does not know at this moment that it's best to choose sender name and other info.
Yeah. So what kind of, if we go with something like this, then there's no real easy way to just receive, so you basically have to input anything or stuff before you get to the address. So that kind of implies that the default way is that people know how much they want to receive or from who. And I mean, it's certainly an option, but you have to think more upfront.
Yeah, those are all optional, right? You don't have to enter anything.
But yeah, but it's not obvious, right? I get what Michael means. There's some friction here, right? But
yeah, I mean, with core we put friction in a bunch of places because we want people to to not make mistakes, lose their coins, and all these things. We,
Yeah, if I can quickly jump in, I think what I'm gonna say is gonna be a bit predictable, I guess, at this point. But I think like the mockups that like Michael made, they are like based on what we are used to right now, which is like an address-based interaction model where you think in terms of addresses, so you can quickly like have an like generate an address like and share that address. And Christoph, the older one, it seems like based on contacts. And I think you guys are right, like it has a bunch of potential friction. And it also, like I read, like the first field is called send a name. That implies that you have a contacts and you have a people based, like a contacts based interaction model. And you think in terms of people and like that. But I think right now, at least in the existing applications we have, I'm not used to that. I'm used to like just like clicking on receive and having a QR code or an address that I can copy. So I feel like they are both pretty valid, and but like they just have different paradigms of thinking. Like how do users think when they want to receive?
I mean, what could be kind of also a way in the middle where you say, okay, just type in the amount, and then you can add additional stuff if you want it. Could also be a way to kind of reduce it a little bit, and still makes you think a little bit more about receiving.
cannot we show? Can you go back to the screen with the form? Yeah. So cannot we show address here from the beginning, and then the user can copy it, or they can fill this and create by image requests?
yeah. I mean, so here's the thing too. All the generated addresses are tracked. Let me see if I can pull up the Figma file with the screenshots. So I think if I remember correctly, and please someone correct me if I'm wrong here, the assumption in the design so far is, I don't think I can find the screenshots here, that you create a request and that request then is tracked. Like there's a list with all the requests that you've created. assuming that you don't just randomly just kind of throw out addresses nilly-willy, probably because of the gap limit and all of this stuff. But if you share an address, you're kind of serious about it. And then there's the scenario, if you just share one address, and for your own finance, it's kind of helpful to know who you sent it to or what it was for, right? Otherwise, you end up with a transaction list, and you're like, okay, cool, I received stuff. I have no idea, cannot tell anymore where that's from, which is not very helpful. So let me see if I can find those screenshots, because I think you can argue kind of either way with this thing.
Yeah, but I get it. So the point actually is here that you want to be more deliberate than just generating addresses
Yeah.
Yeah,
randomly.
I found it. Let me see if I can.
Michael, can you like go to the one that you just showed us, like the first one? Yeah. Yeah, this one. Share copy. I think Jakub, I think this might be pretty close to what you were like talking about. Like you show the QR code and address up front, and then just below that you also give the options. Like there is a button here, and people can click that if they want to like enter these details. I think this sounds close to that. I mean, does it? Like I should ask, like say it as a question.
So
Does it sound
I
closer
think
to what you were saying?
what Christoph is saying, that actually this thing here should
Yeah.
come, after the action of actually creating the
Yeah.
so
Oh
that you
yeah.
deliberately create this thing, right? And you can leave these blank
Ah.
here if you
Yeah.
want to.
Yeah.
So basically this here would
Mhm.
be enabled from the beginning.
Mm.
Yeah. So it's basically, it would be optional.
Yeah. I
And
mean
then
the
you could
code.
actually skip this, and you would not, have just a generated address here
Yeah. Yeah.
all the time.
Yeah. So I think if I understand correctly, based on what you just said, Michael, like yeah. So I think the QR code itself changes based on the amount. If you enter the amount, the QR code changes. Like the
Of,
BIP,
yeah, yeah.
BIP that changes. Address label. I'm not sure if it goes inside the BIP21, but maybe it does. And of course the name of the sender or something like that also does not go into the QR code, but the amount definitely goes. And plus, like in the
Yeah.
future, people could choose different types of addresses. They could choose like a taproot address, or different types of addresses. Of course that also changes the QR code. So yeah, that is a good point, but it's fine, I think. So like as people enter information, the QR code changes in like the real time. A lot of applications already have that right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, that is a good point. Like the QR code is going to change. So if for example the user, like they bring up this screen and they copy paste just the address, or they just have somebody scan the QR code, and after that you enter the amount and things like that, that is not going to be reflected in the QR code because they generated it before they like entered those things.
Yeah. I mean, if you wouldn't enter anything, then obviously we just get, we don't have an amount here. You have basically
Yeah.
nothing. You don't need a URI, right? It's
Hmm.
enough to have the address.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah.
I mean, it's also, so I think it's fair enough to try, this type of approach, which is basically the same as this here. And we just,
Yeah. Yeah.
but I guess this is this I would disregard or discard rather. It was just an idea to switch between kind of an easy way and a more structured way of creating these of receiving.
Yeah, it gets confusing. Receive address and payment request. What these the introducing that extra term.
Yep. All right. So I'll go with this kind of more upfront or more involved thing here, and we'll post an update probably in the Discord tomorrow or so to see how it could look like, and then we can coordinate with Jakub to see what so that we have basically one prototype that you can walk through.
Yeah, and make sure to take a look at the View Previous Requests button there and what that screen looks like. And also, I think the current app, when you create that payment request, it pops out in a new window, which is something we can do if we want to. Obviously, on mobile, it's a little bit different. You don't open a new application for something like that. It would have to be some type of modal or so, if that's what we want. So just fleshing out all aspects of the whole thing.
Yep.
Awesome. Thanks for working on all that stuff.
Yeah, it's been fun to. It took me a while to get back into it.
Yeah, same. Okay, so anything else on those topics?
Nope.
Okay, so from my side, one more thing. I listened to a podcast with ambulance driving by with Lisa Nygut and What Bitcoin Did, and they were talking about, well, it would be awesome to automate when you do test transactions. So they do a test transaction, it's a bigger amount, they send a small one first, and then they do another transaction to send the real one. But there's anxiety around making a mistake the second time around. So it could be something in the future, could be we automate it. Like you send a larger amount and you click send test transaction first. It sends that right away. Then the transaction kind of goes into your activity at the top as like something that's pending. And then you wait for the other wallet, or you get a confirmation from someone, yes, I received the test transaction. Then you say, cool, I received it. Now do the real thing. Turning test transactions into a UI feature. That's a...
Yeah, I listened to that podcast 2 days ago as well.
Yeah.
And this is really, I mean, it's very understandable, right? It's I guess that something like that would be really cool.
Yeah, probably something in the future too, similar, maybe like labeling or the tags or so, but that's all stuff we can just either take notes or do some quick design exploration, put it in the core app, in the design docs as like future ideas or so. It's good to track all these things. And then Jakub, right before this call, I didn't get to finish it, but I was reviewing your Create Wallet updates on the design docs, your PR, almost done with it. I'm just gonna, if it's okay, I'm gonna make a commit to your PR, just cleaning up some of the files, because some of them are in the wrong folder, and then for some of the you didn't properly include the 2x and the full size images, so it's just cleaning that up. That's it. No content, nothing changes. Is that okay?
Yeah, sure. It was just for the future. What was wrong with the 2x? The name or names or what?
So for the Retina, the big image, you just put the same file name in. You didn't have the 2x extension, and for the big one, so it's all the same. Because I was looking at my Retina screen, I'm like, why is this so blurry? And then I just looked at it and saw it was just that. Yeah, so that's I'm going to try to finish that right after, and then I'm also for the wallet selector, I can show that real quick. Pablo is working on that, and he gave me some feedback. So you may have seen the video about the wallet selector that I made, but Pablo said, and I kind of agree with him, he prefers something like this here, where each, in the wallet selector, each item has little 3 dots, and then you get another menu where you can just rename, close, or remove the wallet. Because previously there was some weird thing for the open wallet, you had a little X to close it, but then there was no rename option. And if we have something like that, maybe there are other options in here in the future that we want to add in this little option menu. And then on mobile, it would look like this, just a little bit bigger.
And then it opens. So rename opens a full screen or some kind of model.
So rename would be just a very simple. Okay. So rename and remove would have modals. For closing, I don't know if we need it. If we have it, I think I mocked up a version. No, I think I deleted it. If we have one for close, then I would put in a don't ask me again toggle in there. And the other part of the logic is that if you delete the last wallet or if you close the wallet, it navigates you. You don't need those activity send receive tabs anymore. Up here it will say add wallet or your list of wallets. And then it will navigate you to the block log. Because what's the point of having an activity screen in the application accessible when there's no open wallet? I have that design somewhere in here too. So that I'm documenting, adding documentation for that stuff. Yeah, you get to something like this. I'll also probably try to finish that today.
Awesome.
Nice.
Yeah, let's make all this stuff happen, and then we can get all the HRF to also use this application. Let's get everyone on there.
Let's do it.
So all good? Anything else? Nope.
I'm gonna just keep hacking at it and have something kind of more structured, more thought out by next week.
I had a quick question. Like, have we agreed on the create wallet flow or the import wallet flow? Can I just go to the Figma file that's on the bitcoincore.app website and we have it there, or we are still discussing that?
So that's pretty much done. Jakub finalized it. He created a PR for the design docs, which, like I mentioned earlier, that's what I'm reviewing right now, trying to get that in. And then I need to port that into the Figma file over. It's just,
okay.
I have a bunch of documentation, cleanup, maintenance work to do with all that stuff. But we're basically done with it. Did you just want to kind of see what the final solution is, or did you have any thoughts or critique?
No, I think for starters, I'd just like to take a look and see what we agreed on, and I think that's my intention right now.
Yeah, for the import, the design docs are up to date. I think we did that like half a year ago or something, or a couple months, or at the beginning of the year or something. So I think nothing changed there.
I just shared the link with the create wallet link.
Yes. I just opened it. Awesome. Thanks, guys.
Cool. So Johnny, it was nice that a bunch of us met with Pablo in Prague, sat down